Well, this past week on 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way, there were no more secrets, at least none that we know of. Stay tuned. This is Grandma Bev from Life with Grandma Bev, and welcome back to my channel. I don't know if any of you noticed that I was missing last week's report, but I was on my way home from Arizona to Washington, and we had terrible Wi-Fi in all the RV parks we were in. So I wasn't able to present one for you. And by the time I got home here, where I have good Wi-Fi, it was kind of late. Now I might as well wait for Sunday now. So let's get started. Well, I've got my notes all here, but the previous week, a lot of interesting things happened. This week, a lot of interesting things happened. A lot of the same kind, but a lot of different things. I'll probably re-mention some of those in this video, so bear with me. Anyway, I'm going to wait on the news of Gabriel and Isabel. That's the big one. First, we'll start with more of the boring people, with Danielle and Johan. Well, remember the conversation from the previous week was about whether Danielle should meet with one of her ex-boyfriends. Now, Johan doesn't think that's a good idea. Can you blame him? I mean, why would she want to meet with him? Yeah. And if it bothers Johan, then don't do it. What's the big deal? Unless you still care for him. So that conversation this week, continued. And he told her that it's not culturally correct in his country. And if she does meet with them, there will be consequences. But he didn't say what they were. Now, she asked, but he didn't come out with any. So let's see. He feels like it's an insult and really shows disrespect. Well, it does. I got to agree with him on that, And also that he is not going to go with her because she said, come with me. I mean, she should be able to have some male friends, but I think it's a little iffy when it's someone you had a relationship with. So, I don't know. And I guess... Now, that put Johan into a bad mood. Johan. So, they go back to their place, and first, he insists on driving. Now, see, where they've been discussing it, they've been having a few drinks. He's had some beers. Not real clear whether she has. But anyway, he insists on driving, and she says, no, you are not going to drive, not in your condition. So she ends up sitting on him. He's in the front seat, and she sits on him and keeps insisting, give me the keys, right? Finally, he gives them to her. He gives, and he hands them over. And on the way home, of course, he reminds her that there will be quick consequences if she insists upon meeting up with her friend. So it's kind of weird, but I don't know. What do you think? Then we get to Debbie and Usama. Now, they kind of got off to a rocky start, but I know they're coming along. I know I'm still kind of hung in the air about these two. He seems to genuinely love her. Now, there's nothing wrong with loving her. I mean, it's just, with the huge age difference and with his culture and everything, it's, it appears that everything's back on track. So he planned a date for them, and they go to a public poetry reading where he gets up and in front of all these young people, because most of the people in that poetry little get-together are all in their 20s and 30s, And she thinks about that I'm tongue-tied today, that her town in Georgia doesn't have any venues like this. They both love poetry, but she figures, sure, okay, she'll sit and listen. Well, then he decides to get up and read a poem he wrote about her, and he's a painter and a poet, and this certainly is a poem. It's all about Debbie and his love for her. The appreciation of a poem is largely subjective. Not entirely, but largely. What matters is that Debbie absolutely loves it. And he tells her that this is just the beginning, to their relationship. He wants to prove his love and commitment to her. But she still keeps wondering, how long will this last? I mean, remember now, they have not moved out to the farm where his family lives. So, that's when I think it'll get interesting. So then we have Jen and Rishi. Now, if you remember last week, all of a sudden, it was 3 months. I got a cat. It's just crying at my door. Hold on. I'm back. I mean, hey, this is my life. Callie loves her new home here, and I've had to close her out of this room, which is my YouTube room, and you see all the little junk I've got in here. There's so much eye candy for her. So if I'm in here, I can let her in with me. So her daddy left to go get the car washed for me, and she just was nonstop at that door. I don't know if you could hear her, but finally had to let her in. Anyway, back to Jen and Rishi. All of a sudden, it's 3 months. and Jen has gotten her visa renewed for 10 years. So go figure. And I hope this time she read it more carefully. So she's talking to her girlfriends, and remember way back before she left, one of her friends I just contacted him on one of the, probably Instagram or whatever one it was. Almost like a new date person, or maybe it was a dating site. I don't remember. So he had responded to her. Well, her friend finally revealed to Jen that he had also sent her a picture of him. And it's, of course, this gorgeous shot. I mean, he's got a nice bod, it's a gorgeous shot. And he's got I don't know, I guess it's a towel around the lower area. And Jen looked at that and thought, what the heck? She wasn't mad at her friend, but she was starting to wonder about Rishi. So she's still going to go, because she was getting ready to leave, to go back to be with him. So she thought, well, okay, she's not going to say anything until she gets back to wherever she is. What is it, Monaco, Egypt? I don't remember. So she, excuse me, she flies there, and of course, she has him meet her at the apartment, and he's fixed it all up for her, and he knows exactly around when she's going to be arriving in the car, probably an Uber or taxi, I don't know which one it was. And he's got flowers for her. And as soon as she sees him, her heart melts. Oh, Rishi. And they get out and they kiss. And they're just so happy. Now, remember, they had decided, she had decided no sex until they got married. Okay. So they go up into the apartment. And she's really happy with the way he's decorated it and everything. And he says he wants to take her out to a spa place where they get massages. And it's an oil drip thing. And they show her, she's laying there, and her hair is just saturated with oil. Not mine would do if I did that. I mean, so she hasn't said anything yet, but they're still in there after the drenching. And she starts bringing it up to him. Well, before she got there, I'm going to backtrack. Rishi had gone to see his friend Nitesh, Nitesh, and he's kind of like an astrologer. And I guess over there they really believe in astrology and they go see astrologers a lot. So he met with his friend, and while he's there, all of a sudden this gal comes out, this sexy gal dancing, flipping around. Oh, what the heck? But I guess it's just a form of entertainment. I didn't do anything. When she was done, she left when she was done dancing. So he tells Rishi that he and Jen are not going to have an easy time making their relationship work. I wonder why. And while Rishi has already delayed telling his family about the relationship by a couple of years, because that's how long they've been together, he's supposed to delay even longer. So when did he tell them it's a good time to break the news? August at around 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, how's Jen going to react to that? Now, this tells me that, okay, this is a year ago now, okay? So it's already happened back in August if it all went that way. So all this was recorded a year ago. So does ask him. He must have women sliding into his DMs all the time, right? How does he respond? Well, sure, he replies. But he doesn't make commitments to meet with anyone, he claims. Red flag, red flag. And she says, well, she's got some receipts here. And she says, no, that's not true. Is that the answer you want to stick with? She shows Rishi the screenshots, what was sent to her friend who, took all the catfish Rishi. He took the bait, sending a thirst trap of himself, wearing only a towel. He also asked about meeting up, and he did, Now, Jen is in fairly good humor about this, but she does admit that seeing these pictures makes all the things that he has sent her feel less special. Get a grip. So that's where it left us, okay? I don't know about these two. Then we'll jump to Chris and Jamie. Now remember, Jamie was upset a few weeks back because Chris was going to have to go home for her motorcycle case, and then she ended up not having to go home, so they got married. What do you think of that dress Chris was wearing? I don't know. Now, Jamie looked gorgeous. Chris wore her mother's wedding dress. I wonder, was was her mother married more than once? Or I don't know, but that dress, I don't know. You wouldn't catch me in it. So now they're happily married as of Sunday night. They're trying to figure out their lives together. Chris had a setback, though, and she noticed that somebody was spending her money in Colombia. Assumed it was a case of identity theft, or Chris's bank noticed this, okay, and froze her account. So she's going to have to sort this out, which you probably know where this is leading to. But it's a reminder that the two of them could make their own income. They show them walking around while these food trucks. Well, they've decided to buy a food truck, which, okay, if it works, it works. At least they're thinking of something. But it's just an idea because they thought that, they're not sure of the menu yet exactly, but it will combine American and Venezuelan food. One food truck is surprisingly affordable, and it was kind of a cute truck. It costs $10,000, but it's pretty basic. So then they spot this other one, which is an big old yellow school bus, right? This one has some interior seating, making it a portable restaurant. What are you getting into, Callie? But it's weird. It looks like it was decorated to be like a horror movie or something. It's a zombie survival vibes. Now, Chris really digs the vibes of it, though she and Jamie would likely go in a different direction for their own restaurant. Even though it's a total package, it would cost about $20,000. They'll have to have a lot of conversations about overhead costs and more to make sure they can make this work. So later, they don't make any deals. In other words, I got to think about it. Later, we see that Chris is headed to Alabama. She's got to sort things out with her bank. She has to prove that she is not only living in Colombia, but not some sort of hostage. And while she's there, she will get a refill of her narcolepsy meds. Because they don't have them in Colombia. Oh, so remember a few weeks back when she was talking about going, I mentioned a few minutes ago. Well, Jamie is just so upset about the fact that she has to leave, But she feels a little more comfortable because now at least they're married. And, they've only known each other in person for about a month. But they're married. So Chris hopes she can get everything done in just a couple of weeks, but she doesn't know exactly yet. So that's where it leaves us. Miss Callie, if you hear any crashes, it's... So then we'll get to Nicole and Mahmoud. Well, I guess several months have gone by because all of a sudden she says she's been there 4 months. But it looks the same. She's still just hanging around that bedroom and the mother-in-law's just sitting out there on the couch. I just don't know. So she decides, they're doing better because they haven't been talking about major issues. Oh, so they've just been burying them, right? Well, she's sleeping a little better because they now have an air conditioner in their room. He says something that sounds a little negative about her having to run it extensively. Oh, dear. So it looks like they're going to skip that talk. They seemed to skip so many others. And she reveals they actually looked at apartments, and she found one that she really liked. The bathroom situation would be an instant upgrade. Anything would be an instant upgrade to me. Let's see. Not just because it's a real bathroom at his mother's. It's just one bathroom, and the shower stall is also the toilet. How would that work? She has to sweep the water down the drain after showering. Oh, the poor baby, gosh. But he says he doesn't want to move out. He likes living with Mommy. So she just feels stuck in their room 12 hours a day. Yeah, so she decides she wants to do a yoga class, So she finds one that's led by a woman and not any men there, because she knows Mahmoud would get upset if there were any men there that might see her dressed in a full-length leotard. So she really enjoyed it, and it really hit home with her. The instructor, I guess, could sense something weird going on. And so after the class, she goes over to Nicole and sits and chats with her and tells her that, her name is, what the heck kind of truck is that? Her home is Nouran, Nouran, and she's an Egyptian woman. And she says that when she was raised under a lot of conservative rules, and that where Nicole is now living, they are known for being very conservative there. Now, I don't know if their conservative means the same as when we talk about conservatives. I don't know. But at any rate, she says that she was raised under a lot of conservative rules herself, but then in her teens, her parents told her that she was an adult who could decide her own outfits and expressions of faith for herself. And she says this is not an unusual experience for a Muslim woman in Egypt or America. So Nicole really likes this chick, you know. She says the chick tells her there's another area they could be living in where it's not as conservative. You can dress how you want and all that stuff, and nobody thinks anything of it. You know, so Nicole's thinking, So she tells Mamu about her chat with Noran, and he doesn't even like the idea of all women meditation classes, but is mostly biting his tongue over it for Nicole's sake. Oh dear. So she decides that she wants him to meet Nuran. So they get together for a little meeting session, like in a little restaurant or something. But when Nuran arrives, she right away starts in on how she discussed her own experience dating Egyptian men, the good and the bad, with Nicole. So he feels very attacked. Nuran, just for the record, had discussed how loving and affectionate Egyptian men could be, but they're also very controlling. She says, you know, when an Egyptian man loves you, they love you, you know. But they want to keep their women very sheltered, and they want to be controlled. And of course, it goes without saying that Mahmoud feels very sure that this woman is not a good influence on Nicole. I mean, Noran had told Nicole there are many places in Egypt and many people where dressing in comfortable clothes won't attract stares. So he's really taken aback by, and this chick really lit into him. But he handled it well. He wasn't nasty to her or anything. He just talked about how the Quran says certain things, and, you know, they just get kind of a discussion. But it doesn't sound like he's comfortable with her. But they were just cute, because at the end, all of a sudden he turns to Nicole, he says, I love you, honey, and I like your friend. Oh, but anyway, let's see. We don't need to talk about all that with them. Mahoud's views, doesn't know what to make all this. Nicole's shoot. Now we'll get to Gabe and Isabel. Now remember, he had come out to her parents, and I was so proud of them. They didn't just jump to conclusions. Oh, you're a sinner, get away. They said they were speechless, but her dad especially was kind of accepting of it. And, you know, he told Gabe, hey, you know, as long as you're happy with yourself, you know, it's okay with us, with me, you know. He felt like Nicole needed to settle down, and he might be just the guy to get her to do that. So in this week's episode, Gabe and Isabel's dad hang out together while the two are exercising, because her dad had more questions about it. And so Gabe, you know, talked to her, opens up about, you know, how he felt when he was, you know, growing up with this dysphoria, and he even shows him some pictures, some before pictures, and how he just wanted to die every day he'd wake up because he just wasn't himself. So it'd be like if you had an extra arm and nobody else could see it, but it was there, and it just annoyed the heck out of you, and you know, it was such a distraction. He said he just didn't feel like he fit in. He says not all trans folks have the same experience, but his story is a familiar. So he walked him through his his journey, and her dad said it was very educational because he had questions. He just keeps sitting there kind of, okay, yeah, I'm okay, Dad, like this guy. And his compassion is informed by his faith, he says. So, Gabe says he has had I'm going to read this now so I get the wording correct, has had a lot of bad experiences with people weaponizing their Christian views to hurl bigotry at him. It's one of the most common forms of transphobia. But in Isabel's dad, he sees something else. A guy citing his Christian beliefs for why he is so accepting of the man whom his daughter loves. So, Gabe feels, maybe this is the time because her dad sounds so accepting. He asks him, what would he think of him marrying Isabel? Well, of course, her dad says, oh, you left me speechless again. But he says that it would be great. Specifically, he notes that he has been hoping to see Isabel settle down and be happy. Now, he notes, Gabe just needs to ask her. Well, Gabe has already asked her kids. Remember, he got them together and they were doing pottery stuff. And he made one plate that was a will you marry me thing. So he had this all planned. And he takes Isabel to that place for them to do the project because she wasn't able to join them when they went that other time. So she's feeling really happy about the fact, he's taking her there. And they show her what they made. And then finally the guy brings the one that Gabe made. Of course, she's wondering why his plate seems to be a little different from the others before he drops to one knee beside her and begins to read her a speech in Spanish. He wanted to know if Isabel, who became visibly overjoyed the scene, would marry him. Now, he said it in, I don't know, do they do Spanish? I mean, it sounds like Spanish to me, what little Spanish I know. But you could tell what he was saying, even without it. But, it was showing on the bottom of the screen in English. So she's so excited, and she says, yes. And he puts a ring on her finger. And so, warm, fuzzy feelings, right? So I hope everything works out for these two. Oh, don't mind me, got an itch. So what do you think from all of them? Well, do you think Danielle will go meet her friend? Will Jen stay mad at, or get madder at Reese? Will Nicole keep seeing her friend? And of course, Chris and Jamie. You think Chris is going to come back in a week or two like she says she will? I saw a preview, and I kind of wonder. And then, of course, like I just said, these two. Oh, Debbie and Usama. Is he going to continue to stay the romantic person who seems to only see her when he's with her? Please comment below. Share, like, and subscribe. And I hope you've all enjoyed this. I know I can be a little all over the place, but that's just me. Like I say, it's called Life with Grandma Bev. I hope you're having a good week. I'll be back, of course, next week after watching Sunday's episode. I love you all. Bye.